Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's video, day 10 will take us to the 26th of April. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM Ensembles. If they run around a couple of weeks, we'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, that will get us into the second week of May, I think. Though I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video was the 6 AM UK weather forecast, and also release the 6th summer 2023 update. So if you'd like to, please check out those two bits, like, share, subscribe on the videos, and thank you so much everybody for doing that. And I hope you're having a lovely Sunday as well. Okay, let's crack on then. So we're going to start off with the centering temperature. The CT is still sitting at a very nice 8 degrees, 8.0. 0.1 of a degree above the 61.1990 average. That is provisional to yesterday, to the 5th of April. So we can say that up to the middle of April, the first half of April, essentially a bang on average for the old and cold average of 61.1990. Of course, that would be a little bit below average though for a more modern average, such as 91 to 2020. So probably a slightly colder than average first half to April if we was to compare it to a more recent average. Of course, much of that through the second half of the month. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts for the next week to 10 days from the Penn State University. We've got the ECM WF on the top and the GFS is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 18,000 feet, is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure have been moved around by the jet stream running above. Orange and red extrapolate to above average heights, which is high pressure. Blue to below average heights, which is low pressure. So ECM first of all, then we'll have a look at GFS in a mo. ECM has an area of above average height sitting over and to the west of the country, pulling up to the northwest some degree as well. There's a trough dropping in over Scandinavia. The trough over Scandi, bringing colder air through there. We're kind of on the periphery of that, but we're not all that far away from pulling down some colder air from the north there with the ECM. The GFS looks like this. It has stronger high pressure over Greenland. It actually has a proper Greenland block setting up here in the 7 to 10 day time frame, and a trough of low pressure over Scandinavia, but also back towards the UK and Ireland as well. So this would actually place us into a colder run of northwest winds. We have got some high pressure down towards Spain, but we'll want to keep the wind in from the west and keep things milder. But I think that high pressure over Spain is probably going in that direction, with the trough sinking in over Scandinavia and Northern Europe. That actually sets us up for quite a cold northerly. Again, this has been a spring of repeated blocking and northerly outbreaks. We know what happened in March, of course. Overall, it has been a particularly cold spring, but there has been cold interludes, and I think a lot of it is down to the SSW that we had at the end of February, probably. But they're both kind of going in the same direction, which is interesting, that we might get some northerly winds back again in the final week of April. Now, these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at London today. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. And to be honest, what do we make of that? It's very difficult to decipher much, to be honest, from that. There's so much scatter there. The scatter is absolutely incredible. You know, it's insane. The amount of scatter that we've got there. Let's start off at the beginning of the graph. That's the most reliable part. So for the next few days, the upper air temperature is going to be around average, starting off a little bit above, like tomorrow particularly, and then slipping away a little bit as we get through to the second half of next week as we pull in those chilly easy winds that we've been talking about. Beyond that, though, huge amounts of scatter. So as we go into next weekend and the beginning of the following week, we have got warm ensemble members up here. We've got much cooler ensemble members down there. It includes the GFS 6Z operational run. And after that, the scatter just gets to a point where you can't really make out much of use, to be honest. So we've got some of the ensemble members down here, taking upper air temperatures to -5 at 850 HPA or lower. And then we've got some up here that are actually taking upper air temperatures to +10 or more at 850 HPA, which is kind of like summer-like temperatures. And in between, we've got so much spaghetti all over the place. It is very, very difficult to decipher what's happening there through the closing days of April and into the beginning of May. Precipitation-wise, quite interesting. Will be a fair amount of dry weather around over the next few days, but now not looking as settled, actually, as we're going into the last week of April. No, the precipitation rates are gradually and incrementally increasing here, telling us that the high pressure may be short-lived. If high pressure gets to Greenland, we will probably start running low pressure in underneath it. Let's go back to the 500 millibar height on me. So this low just here, if we start setting up that Greenland high, it's very likely we could start running that low in underneath the block. So we may be turning things quite quickly cooler and wetter into the last week of April. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Temperature anomalies from the 16th to the 24th of April, coming out a little bit below average England and Wales, a little bit above average Scotland and Ireland. Not a particularly big deviation anywhere though. And precipitation anomalies. Now this is a change, quite a big change actually, from the 16th to 24th of April. So still a little bit drier than average for more western areas, but average are actually slightly above average for northern and eastern parts of the country. That is a significant change of what these anomaly charts have been showing recently, so it's not as clear-cut dry now either. I think that's because of the easterly wind that we've got coming up this week. That easterly wind could well start bringing some showers, though even like in the next week we're wobbling a little bit on drier weather. Latest Windflow Map from earthnullschool.net shows that we've got a deep area of low pressure out of the Atlantic. However, high pressure is building through the country, reaching from the Azores up to Scandinavia, and we're going to set up a proper Scandinavian high in the next couple of days. And you see this very nicely as we go to chart data with the latest UCommit Euro run for midnight on Wednesday. A beautiful Scandinavian high, beautiful Scandinavian high, with a proper easterly there, coming all the way out of Russia and pushing across northern and western parts of Europe. Excuse me. So that, of course, that was January. Again, I talked about this video yesterday. About January, that'd be bitterly cold air coming out of Siberia and the Urals and whatnot, and pushing across northern Europe. Of course, it's April. It's not January, but nevertheless, there will still be a bit of a chill, I think, to that easterly wind. That's Thursday, so the EC continues, and there's a bit of a trough coming across the south as well. That could bring some heavy showers and whatnot. And then heading into Friday and Saturday, you get the idea that I am being a lot better today. I'm being back to normal today. Gaz back to normal. Gaz back to being giddy and silly today after my cold. Anyway, by Saturday, the high pressure... I'm so sorry, everybody. By Saturday, the high pressure is building over Greenland and Iceland, and northern blocking is beginning to set up. So as we go into next weekend, I mean, it's probably mostly dry, but we've got to watch out for these northeasterlies that look like they're starting to set back in again. And if we get a trough, there is like evidence of a bit of a trough being formed over Scandinavia. If we get a trough of low sinking down with those northeasterly winds, then it will not only turn colder, it will also turn more unsettled as well, because we've got all this low pressure in the Atlantic that could start running in underneath the block as well. But up to like Sunday, the high pressure, blocking area of high pressure is in control of the weather. Right, ICOM again has those easterly winds on Wednesday. They carry on into Thursday and Friday. Notice the kink in the isobar, suggesting some sort of trough moving in across the south. That could bring some heavy showers and maybe some longer spells of rain. And then beyond that into next weekend, we get this low setting up within like a chilly northeasterly type flow with Icon. So Icon turns cooler and more showery next weekend. Doesn't make as much of a block around Greenland, but does get as far towards Greenland to allow a trough to move in from northern Europe. So we do turn cool, maybe quite cold and showery there with Icon next weekend. The GFS midnight run once more with that high pressure over Scandinavia. I think I'm going to jump the gun yesterday when I was talking about in the video title, are we going to set up a proper spring pattern? So if it's all going down the tubes, then in terms of moving into proper spring, then blame Gav. It's Gav's fault, I think. The weather gods have done it to me again, drat. Anyway, it's all of interest though, isn't it? Right, the GFS midnight run, once more of that Scandinavian High. Excuse me, once more everybody, Scandinavian High and easterly flow on Wednesday, and we carry on pulling in those east winds through Thursday and Friday. There's a trough, an upper level trough coming in with those easterlies too. Now, this shows the danger I'm talking about with the block. Notice this low just here in the Atlantic, that low just there. So what the midnight runs does is actually starts running in that low pressure underneath the block. So there's the blocking area of high pressure. It's retrogress from Scandinavia to Greenland, and underneath it we start running in the areas of low pressure, like a daughter low from the parent low just there. And that's always a hazard when you get northern blocking, and particularly so in spring and even more so in summer when there's more energy available in the atmosphere to create and promote instability. Right, so what happens then is that we have some very cold air sitting just to the north of Scotland by Monday 24th, and we eventually start pulling down that colder air. Look at this, we get through to around day 9, which is the 25th of April. Colder air is starting to move southwards with this blocking area of high pressure around Greenland and Iceland, and the low pressure over Scandinavia. Winds are in from that north-northeast direction. Down comes a -5 Celsius iceberg. Probably brings a return of wintry showers to the north and overnight frost with it. Again, keep your delicates covered up. Proper blocking and cold conditions there as we get through the 27th of April. Not ideal for the end of April at all with that. And we just keep it quite chill until we get to around the beginning of May. And then some high pressure begins to start building over the country, cuts off the northerly flow. As far as we get to, by the way, to the 2nd of May. By then, we've got a little bit of a ridge starting to turn somewhat milder then. But that is a cold GFS midnight run. Okay, GFS sits ahead again with that easterly wind on Wednesday. The easterlies carry on into Thursday and Friday, and there's some sort of upper level trough that brings risk anyway, and some showers in across England and Wales. Beyond that, sort of an area of low pressure forms in situ underneath the blocking area of high pressure around Greenland and Iceland there. A little bit less of a northerly around days 9 and 10, but some colder air is certainly getting into the northern half of the country. I think it's being held at bay further south. That's how the upper air temperatures look at day 10. Actually, a little bit of a battle lines drawn type thing. Again, with that, actually, I'm afraid. There's probably like a weather front here through the country, or maybe there. I don't know, but there's probably a weather front somewhere through the country anyway. We've got this elongation in the isobars, like there. So to the south of that, relatively mild. To the north of it, quite cold. It is possible to get snow in the final week of April, especially when you get a battle lines drawn type situation. Well, I'm not necessarily saying we will get snow with that, but you don't really see that kind of pattern really in the last week of April. Now we go beyond that, beyond day 10, low pressure then coming in from off the Atlantic, bringing plenty of rain back in with it. So we return to the pattern that we had in March, basically, which is blocking around Greenland and plenty of low pressure underneath it. That will bring lots of rain, but it's not overly cold, except in the far north of Scotland. We end up pulling up quite a warm, southerly, southeasterly then as we get into the beginning of May. Look at the upper air temperatures, plus 15 Celsius iceberg. Trying to surge north. Hang on a moment. Right, phone. So there's always something going on at the towers, isn't there? Right, okay, so where was we? Yeah, we end up with GFS 6 there, bring up a hot southerly. I don't know what's got into these models. If you're enjoying this video, then please can you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Okay, GM, once again with high pressure Scandinavia, bringing the wind from an easterly direction on Wednesday. As easts carry on through Thursday and into Friday as well. The high pressure goes into retrograde and moves to Greenland and Iceland with winds coming in from an easterly direction. Look at these areas of low pressure underneath the high. They're heading in from off the Atlantic, so we turn very unsettled with those areas of low pressure next weekend. Not especially cold, but certainly plenty of rain coming in with those areas of low pressure. Cool, wet scenario returns. That's how we're set up at day 10, having a go at pulling in some cold air from the north. So battle lines drawn a bit further north there by day 10, with the divide somewhere through there. Again, not ideal for the last week of April, not really what you want to be seeing. And then the ECM looks like that once more. The wind is coming in from the east as we go through Wednesday and into Thursday and Friday as well, with proper easterly winds pushing across the country. The high pressure goes to Greenland and Iceland to next weekend. An area of low pressure forms underneath it. That's not overly wet, but would be bringing showering conditions, and it would be quite cool as well. Not as bad with the ECM. Out of all model output for days 8, 9, 10, the ECM is the best if you want some drier, warmer conditions. That ridge of high pressure sitting over and to the east of coast up brings a lot of dry weather with it, and is relatively warmer as well. That's a relatively warmer scenario. So we don't go into that cold, wet, potentially battle lines drawn or northerly blast that all of the other model output is showing. Now the ECM is the drier, warmer of the models around days 8, 9, 10 there. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Temp.com. There will be plenty of dry weather over the next days. As those easy winds pick up, we can start to bring in some showers, especially to more southern east and southeast. There's a longer spell of rain there, with that upper level trouble being talked about, moving in at the end of next week. That actually brings some quite wet weather in across England and Wales. Further showery rain into next weekend as well. Things start drying out as we get towards days 8, 9, 10 as the high pressure builds across the country. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office. Gets us to the 26th of April. 32 members of the ECM ensembles including the control and the operation run, with high pressure ridging through the country from the south to the north. So a lot of dry weather with that at day 10, and relatively mild as well. And then we've got 19 going in the direction of the other model output we just looked at, with the trough of low pressure in across the northwest Europe combined with the blocking area of high pressure around Greenland. That gets the wind into a cold northerly then. So cooler, colder and unsettled with those 19. Within the ECM ensembles, that is a minority option, but as we established, a lot of the other model output is actually going for that scenario. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 1st of May, May Day, which is Bank Holiday Monday, of course. 18 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure building through Western Europe should be mostly dry and should be quite mild. With that, 17 with high pressure over France, low pressure around Greenland and Iceland, the winds coming up for southwesterly direction. So that's mild and driest in the south. 11 with high pressure just out to our west, and that's turning things a little bit drier and cooler. And then 5 with low pressure across the northwest Europe, and of course that's going to be cold and wet with high pressure blocking around Green, but that is the most minority option. So, but the options across the spare don't look too bad within the ECM for days 10 and 14. However, the other model output, as we've established, is looking rather dodgy. So we're going to have to wait and see how this works out and resolves itself. CFS V2. Finally, these are 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 16th to 22nd of April. The coming week is dominated by high pressure over Scandinavia. Winds coming in from the east, so mostly dry and cool with that. And then week 2 will be the 23rd to 29th of April. High pressure looks like it's going into retrograde from Scandinavia towards Greenland. Just a lot of dry weather with that, but will be threatening to bring in some cooler air from the northeast. Now, week 3 is the 30th of April to the 6th of May. High pressure bed in the middle of the Atlantic going up towards Greenland. Trough of low pressure across Western Europe, and so that would be turning unsettled and cool as well with that wet weather. And with that low pressure, I should say, will be bringing wet weather. And then week 4 is the 7th to the 13th of May. Again, low pressure across the north and west Europe in combination with high pressure blocking around Greenland. And again, that looks unsettled with showers or longer spells of rain and potentially, excuse me, everybody, potentially, you know, quite cool as well. So the first half of May looking a little bit grim there. That does encompass, as I've been saying, like the May bank holiday, early May bank holiday, and also the coronation, King's coronation. And it looks a little bit dodgy, I have to say. So are the weather gods going to be raining on the King's parade? We'll have to wait and see. It's a long way off. Okay, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos, phone interruption included. And we thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Just to tell you what's coming up tomorrow, we will have a 6 a.m. upload. We're going to have a date of 14 down. I will try and get a update done for the bank holiday weekend as well, the early May bank holiday weekend. And we're going to be live streaming at 8 p.m. tomorrow. So we're going to hang out, have a chat, and we'll show some long range of that with Patal Peng. And we might even extend that all the way to next winter. How does that sound? Ultra long range on our 8 p.m. live stream tomorrow. So I shall see you for that when you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, though. And for this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.